Apple just released their cheapest MacBook ever, the Neo, but there's also an alternative from Acer, a Chromebook at $399. But these two couldn't be more different. In fact, the MacBook here runs Apple's own Mac OS and has essentially a mobile chip inside. The Chromebook here runs Chrome OS but costs £200 less. But is there a best overall all-rounder between these two? Let's find out. The Acer 514 has a 14-inch display which will output at 1080p, and it's an LCD panel at 60 Hz. It's nice and vibrant with nice details, and playing anything back here looks really, really good. You also get a build that is mainly plastic, to say the least, and you can feel it so right away. If you were to push on the actual keys of the actual keyboard itself, it does have a little bit more flex, which is the case with a budget laptop, let's just call it. Yep, or Chromebook, in fact. But the big win for the 514 is this: ports. 2 USB-Cs, USB-A, headphone jack on the one side, and on the other side, you get a HDMI, Kingston key lock, and another USB-A slot, which is pretty great. But then let's take a quick look at the MacBook Neo. In terms of quality, it is far nicer and more premium built, and you can feel it right away, and it's got a much more sturdier aluminium construction, which is really, really cool. And then the display is smaller at 13-inch, but it is a Retina display at the same 60 Hz and outputs stunning quality when it comes to video as well. But then there is a problem here, and that is the distinct lack of ports. In fact, you'll get a USB-C port, 2 USB-C ports, and a 3.5mm jack. That's it. That's all there is to this particular one. But then sound output for both. Effectively, what you're going to get here is a quick demo of what both of these sound like playing the same video at max volume, and you can judge yourself which outputs better. Overall, between the two, when it comes to the design element and factoring everything we've discussed so far, the MacBook is the clear winner because it outputs better video. But I do think if you want flexibility of ports and not just stuck with USB-Cs, then the 514 may well be the better option. Let's touch on the bit that you're probably going to use the most: keyboards. Effectively here, what you've got is the Acer's keyboard here has far more travel than you'd probably like or want. It actually feels, I don't know, there's probably a bit too much travel there when you're typing with the keys, and actually impacts how fast you can type on the actual 514. But you do get a really well lit backlight on that keyboard as well. The trackpad, however, does feel a little bit cheap, to say the least. It doesn't drag as well or react as well. The Neo, on the other hand, has nicer, much more better feel in terms of its keystrokes, and its traveling distance is a lot softer and more satisfying. But there is a downside here: it is not backlit. Another thing to point out, weirdly, it has a lock button, but it doesn't have a power on or off key, which means if you wanted to turn the MacBook Neo off, you'd actually have to go into the settings and shut it down manually, step by step, one by one. You also don't get the Touch ID option on here. On the base model, you have to actually pay £100 more, but you do get additional storage, so make of that what you will. But the trackpad on here, much like my Pro I use for my editing at home, does feel very, very similar and much more premium to use. On the performance front, it's the Intel Core i3 that powers the 514 here, and using the OS is fast and smooth, and it genuinely runs really, really well. There are some issues though We downloaded Call of Duty onto this because it has Google Play app support, and it installs. And when you go to load it, it looks like it's loading, but nothing ever happens. And it happens on multiple games, which means there is an issue of compatibility with certain apps. But on the plus side, that Chrome OS does have a smaller amount of pre-installed apps, which is really, really good. And then software support here is until allegedly 2032, which is insane value for money. The Neo, on the other hand, runs the A18 Pro as its CPU, and when you put it up in terms of performance benchmarks versus the i3 on the 514, it absolutely crushes it. In fact, it probably 3 to 4x's it in terms of overall performance. But again, on the gaming front, officially through the App Store, you can't access the same gaming level of performance you'd want on this, maybe that it's capable of achieving. But it does have a ton of native Mac OS apps, which is super great, and they're optimized for this as well, unlike that which is using a mobile to convert it to a laptop level experience. And then updates wise, you're going to get significantly longer updates on here as well to mirror that of the 514. Just to quickly touch on battery life, hard to actually performance benchmark these, but let's touch on what the claimed battery life is. In our uses, 8.5 hours would be what we would get on the Chromebook in terms of video playback and usage in general, whilst the Neo is claiming 16 hours of usage, playback and streaming. So there's a huge difference between the both. I would say they both do a really, really good job generally in performance of just playing back any video content of any sort. In fact, change the resolution to 4K in YouTube, you can do it on both. Runs perfectly, no issues at all. And then the quality in terms of navigating the OS, etc., there is not much in the way of difference. But if you wanted the raw overall performance, it is a Neo that is the better option. Then cameras, 1080p on both. However, the 514 actually gets a slider up top which allows you to protect your privacy and shut off visibility of that camera. Both are 1080p, and here's a video from each, including sound output to gauge what the quality of each is like, including that audio. Let us know in the comment section your thoughts, which is better on this front. So this is what the audio and video sounds and looks like on the MacBook Neo. Looks good, I think. Let's check out the 514. This is what the audio and video on the 514 sounds and looks like. Not the best. Before we give you our final thoughts, is one element we didn't test, and that's by design, and that's the AI, because it's incomplete as Apple Intelligence on the MacBook Neo, and essentially it's a short key or an app on the 514. So testing them is only going to give you the results that you've seen probably 1,000 times. But on what we did use and we did test, the MacBook Neo at the $599 price point is an absolute steal. Great overall raw performance, build quality is amazing, and it is genuinely feels like a genuine Apple product with not much cut out of it, even if you factor in 8 gigabytes RAM. However, the Chromebook, for those who don't need that overall increased performance, no video editing, but just want to do the basics, like browsing, shopping, some document creations, be able to print, etc., and even connect it to a monitor because of HDMI, then this at $399 is actually a really, really good buy. In fact, we encourage you to tell us in the comment section below, if you deduct the actual OS and everything and just on price and performance and what we've shown you in this review, which one would you buy if it was your money? Comment below, and please like and subscribe because it really supports the channel. Until the next one, as always, we out.